Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Lefty. Hey, Lefty, what you say?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It is the Lucky Lefty podcast, and as always, each and every week we give you the slant, basically the breakdown of Brian Kelly's Monday press conference and what went on in the weekend of college football, and then we dib and dab a little bit more. Notre Dame getting ready to take on the USC Trojans coming up this week, South Bend, Indiana, 6:30 p.m. start Central Time. It's a big rivalry, right? It has been the one, from a scheduling standpoint, it has been the one constant rival, other than Navy probably, that's consistently been on the schedule. We've seen Michigan State drop off. We've seen other Big Ten teams drop off like Michigan and Purdue. But USC and Stanford pretty much remain constant, the home and away. It's always dreadful when you have to go play one of those teams Thanksgiving weekend, that Saturday afterwards, and something seems to always be on the line. And it's just a tough matchup, even when they come in. USC and Stanford have been really good programs, and right now, both of those programs seem to be on a small, I would say a little bit of a decline, not to the standards where we've seen them in over the last 10 years. USC Trojans come in struggling mightily, especially on the defensive end. They still have tons of speed. On the offensive end, Keaton Slovis slings it all over the field. But very much just like Jay Cutler, he's a gunslinger. He will make the mistake. He will throw the interception. So you might want to look for that if you're laying money on the over-under. We'll get to that in the preview later in the week. But this week, we want to talk about Brian Kelly. He did meet with the media today. And very interesting thing. But Malik, before we get to Brian Kelly, the interesting thing coming off the bye week, traditionally the bye week for Notre Dame players is also the quarter break. How is it in your preparation? Someone asked Brian Kelly, actually, what's it like for his players not having the consistency of going to class and preparing for a game? Knowing that you're still kind of preparing for a game, you're in the weight room, having some walkthroughs, might not be as intense the first week as it is the second week preparing for USC, but not having the other side of that as far as school to give that balance. What's it like for a player? You've been through it, the bye week at Notre Dame. Was it a positive? Did you feel like you guys came out ready to play, more reinvigorated? Or was it like another hurdle you had to get over in preparation for that game?
It's a little bit of a break. You get a chance to take a step back, knowing that you don't have to hit it as hard on Monday. And usually right after the game, before the bye week, you're excited that you can breathe a little bit, get a chance to see other games or just relax and take a step back. Probably at that time at Notre Dame, you're probably catching up on some homework, trying to squeeze in some extra 2 hours to get a project done. So bye week, because Notre Dame is already hectic as a student athlete, it just saves you time on getting other things done and catching up on things to get ready for that second half of the schedule. So I know guys may be off, but they're definitely busy.
A lot of work in the weight room, more than anything?
Yeah, you're getting some work in the weight room. A lot of it is almost like a downtime. You're definitely going to get in that weight room, maybe get 2 lifts, a couple meetings. But more times than not, you're just looking to hit that recovery. You're going to do some flush out stuff and then really just light prep for the next week and just catch up on some things before your practice. Obviously, you'll have some practices, but it's like getting some young guys in there or, depending on who you're playing the next week, getting a pre-schedule on that.
So from a injury standpoint, the tight end position looks a lot better. He did say Kevin Bowman was probably about 2 weeks away from returning to action. Mitchell Evans will be out for the first half of the USC game because of that targeting penalty on his crackback block, which was a horrible call. It was a horrible call. I understand the rule, but yeah, I mean, sometimes
I understand.
I understand, but sometimes you just feel like as a defensive player, you got to have your head on a swivel.
Yeah, straight up.
Straight up. It's like, man, if it's his job to secure the edge on the play, he can't like dip around and make sure he gets in your eyesight before he blocks you. Like, man, you have to keep your head on a swivel. You know, if you're chasing somebody down, I know I would be anticipating, like, if somebody coming from the outside to inside on this play to clock.
Yeah.
So he'll be out for the first half. K. Barong is good to go. And I don't know, he must be plastic, man, because I've had a groin injury before. Maybe he's just a better athlete than me. But he said Michael Mayer was 100%. That's what he said. He said he was 100%.
A little coach speak. A little coach speak.
I hope he is.
LeBron, the most invincible man in sports, sat out almost 2 months from a groin. Is Michael Mayer paying $1 million on his body a year like LeBron?
Nah.
No.
I'm just saying that if it's the one thing that stood out for me, it was that. Like, there's no way Michael Mayer. He couldn't play because of a groin, and now he's 100%. Nah. Can he play?
I know Notre Dame has some forward-thinking medicine in there with Rob Hunt leading the charge, but I don't know about that.
Man, like this. He's definitely going to play, and he might play well. But after the game, trust me, that groin is going to be on fire.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about through. Now he also has to protect his own, health at this point. USC is a great opponent, but can we beat him without Michael Mayer? Probably, probably. Yeah. So, if I'm Coach Kelly, I'm giving a chance for these young guys to take a heavy load, get better for the next season, because we know Michael's season is probably his last one.
All right, so Brian Kelly was asked about what he and the coaches had his team work on over the break. What did they focus on? And he said it was just a few nuanced things that he wanted to work on with his football team.
And after talking to Marcus, just some reaction things that occurred both in certain areas of the field that we didn't recognize. So we needed to see those again and I think just react to them better. It wasn't necessarily scheme as much as it was time and place and seeing it and going over it and getting it to the point where, when things like this happen, how we can react faster. From an offensive standpoint, cleaning up some pressures into our run game. A lot of times you look at your run game and, you're blocking, certain players. But, if, for example, you're running your counter play and there's a blitzer, do you pass up somebody to block somebody else? Things like that. So some of the nuances really within the game.
Situational football. He could have just said situational football. That's, he decided to use the word nuance. And from the defensive standpoint, I understand what he's saying, but it goes back to what we talked about on one of our other shows, that the defense got to the point, I think they were starting to get worn down just a little bit physically. But because the offense had not been doing their job, time of possession was always in the other team's favor. They were on the field with 80, 85 plays. Cincinnati had them on the field for a lot of plays. And they just fought and fought. And it got to a point that by the time you see them giving up, they had from Wisconsin to Cincinnati, the job they did in the running game and setting the edges. When you start to see those fundamental things falling off, it's like, okay, these guys are a little bit tired. And coaches have had a chance to see them in a large sample on tape. And now, in certain parts of the field, they know what Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman like to do. So now they can scheme against that. And I think the reaction to that now is something that they can work on during the bye week, understanding what teams want to do against them in certain situations in certain parts of the field. And now they can react better to that in the second half.
Yeah, you want to fix the mistakes, the things that you got burnt on, because teams that are studying you are looking at the same thing. So you're trying to get guys more familiar with looks that got you burnt, throughout the season, and that's defensively. That's a good way of cleaning up some of the mistakes because teams are going to come back out and maybe different formations, same play, but those are the cleanup things that you got to see on defense. And then, but defensively also, you got to look at it as some of those things that we got beat on were just one-on-ones. So hopefully there was some technique and individual drills that they were able to accomplish in terms of high pointing the football, finding ways to pass break up better, gator tackle roll, tackling stations. Those are some of the things you want to harness on. Something similar to like a light mini camp. Light mini camp, you're getting through the rust of things. Offensively, for us, I wish obviously you want to clean up. I know Coach Kelly probably clean up them screens. He loves to take bye weeks to run practice time, fixing screens all day with the offensive lineman. It just it hit or miss on some of those periods in practice. But then I also know he's definitely trying to clean up the counter game. One of the best runs in football, even in NFL right now, is that double pull for the counter. So I know that's a staple. Probably wants to put Buckner in there running some Q counters and stuff, getting up inside that. So the offensive line, harnessing on those techniques in the run game are going to be crucial for this next half of the schedule. I mean, we're playing teams that we're probably going to have to hold the ball against a little bit longer and complete some short third downs. So that run game is going to come real crucial.
Speaking of that running game and the offensive line, he did say that Joe Alt is going to be left tackle pretty much the rest of the season. If Blake Fisher does return, possibly you see him next to Joe Alt, solidifying that left side, which is, man, that's going to be a nice left side for the next 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you got Andrew Kristofic, who's going to start at the guard position as well and get some clock. Michael Carmody, who had been starting at left tackle, has moved over and been practicing at the tight end position due to some of the injuries that still exist to give them depth, and you don't know how Michael Mayer might react during the game with that groin. So that's the offensive line update from today's press conference. He was also asked about the quarterback situation, who's going to start. And, if you follow Lucky Lefty podcast, we try to tell you, stop falling for all of that, the people's champ, Drew Pine, and all of these other debates. We keep telling you who the starter is going to be for Notre Dame.
From a quarterback standpoint, Jack Cohn continues to be the guy that we feel like gives us the best chance to win, and mixture of him with Tyler Buckner. I think both of them. Drew has done some really good things for us, and if we feel like we're in a situation where we need to call on him, we would. But I think right now, as we look at it, it's probably in my mind, and I know in Tommy's, that Jack would start, and we'll continue to get Tyler more playing time.
So, what have we been telling people?
All I would say is that Coach Kelly's not going to put no true freshman in over a guy that they bargained to get over there as a fifth-year senior, not this late in the season. Plus, Jack Cohn has deserved and earned the opportunity to go out there and start. Hopefully, this second half he can finish each game as well. I think Buckner's best opportunity this year is to try to convince those guys to develop those packages to where he's not in there for a one-dimensional scheme type of deal, and he's in there actually being a productive and functional guy running an offense. So I think he's in a tough spot, but could be a year for him to get some good yards and hopefully smooth his game out as he's getting in these herky-jerky moments. And then for Drew Pine, I know he's just going to be ready on call. I don't know when his number is going to get called, but hopefully it doesn't. Not to say that I don't want him to see him play, but as an offense, we don't want to see three guys out there all season. So Jack's the best position to be in to continue to get us through maybe even the playoff run. Who knows? But if we get that deep, I definitely wouldn't mind having a guy like Jack running the show.
Each and every week we say we put a lot of people on the petty train each and every day, Monday on the Slant. And we have called Brian Kelly the conductor. He doesn't even count. You just stop putting him on the train. He is running the train. He is the guy that drives the train, pulls the cord for the smoke to come out and the horn to go off. He does all of that because he's always petty. But this week I searched. I'm listening to the press conference. I'm like, you know what? Maybe the break did him some good as well. Maybe he needed some time off.
Maybe he did.
But he was asked about the two Jack Combs. Why is it that the Jack Comb that closes games is nothing like the Jack Comb that begins games? And his answer, I'll let you tell me whether or not his answer is petty or just Brian Kelly being Brian Kelly. Why do we see different Jack Combs during different times of the game?
Let's look at it from this perspective, right? When has he looked really good late in the game, right? Those defensive linemen are chasing Tyler Buckner around, right? They're tiring out a little bit. So that pass rush is not quite the same in the first series or the second series as it is in that last series. So, there's a little bit of that. Jack speeds up a little bit in those late drives where the ball comes out a little bit quicker. There's more of a sense of urgency. So I think it's a little bit of both. I think the pass rush tends to lay down a little bit later in the game as those guys are running sideline to sideline, having to chase all game. And then I think Jack's sense of urgency in terms of getting the ball out is a lot more deliberate. So I think we gleaned a lot from that in our bye week in terms of what we needed to work on maybe earlier in the game for Jack and being more efficient.
So we
It's a lot to break down here. We gotta start with the fact that he openly admits that he puts Tyler Buckner in there to blow out the D-line's hamstrings, sideline to sideline, long enough that he can let him lay down.
Yes.
So Jack Cohn can go in there and play football. That's crazy. So Tyler Buckner, you hear that? You're in there to run sideline to sideline to tire out the opposing defensive line, just so that it primes Jack enough, because he can't do it himself, to go in there and then have a sense that he wants to play more urgently once everybody is tired out. That sounds real crazy. How do you work on that in bye week? That's the question. How do you work on that in bye week? Do you just, in that case, you should start Tyler first half, let him run around, call some scramble drills, some non-helpful plays. Once the defense gets gassed, plug our guy in.
Put Jack in.
That's the strategy revealed. 5-star quarterback go in there and blow out his hamstrings and the other team's hamstrings, so our 5th-year senior can go in there and do the damn thing.
You know what's crazy, bro? I'm like, so Tyler Buckner is like the baby of the family that gives the babysitter the headache. That's when the babysitter comes over, he's the one bouncing off the walls.
Yeah. He the one that got to go in there screaming all day, get everybody tired, irritated, and then you get the other kids. That's crazy.
There are other ways to deal with pass rushes that are aggressive early in the game coming upfield. I'm just saying, from a scheme standpoint, I watch teams.
Well, you don't have to sacrifice your talent. You don't have to sacrifice and bait other teams with.
Let them come upfield, maybe run a draw play, maybe run a draw pull.
They can't let this stay on the internet, because I'll transfer if that was the case. That's messed up.
Maybe a tight end screen. I mean, we don't have to wait until the third or fourth quarter to run a screen for the first time.
Yeah.
But we're gonna wait until the pass rush slows
down.
So they're not upfield. We're gonna wait until they slow down.
And is Jack asleep in the beginning of
the game?
Yeah, and then he said his urgency increases towards the end. Yeah, because you're probably losing. Yeah, if you got a guy in there just running around, you're probably losing. And so he's like, man, I gotta go in there and save the day. That's
See,
why we look like that versus Virginia Tech. That
that's
was on
why
purpose.
I didn't even call it petty. I couldn't even call it petty. I was just like, I can't believe he's saying this.
Yeah, like he's saying it as if he's just giving us some tidbits on some insight on how he makes the magic happen. That's not no insight. That's
Like
a red flag.
I don't know of an elite coach that would say I'm going to put my youngster in to tire the defense out.
No, but that's your question to address the starter. You saying the starter is the starter, and he wanes in and out of the game because you use a whole nother guy to prep him to get him ready to go in the middle of the game.
So if you're Tyler Buckner and you hear that, how do you feel? Like, forget Jack Cohn. If you're Tyler Buckner and you hear you're being used, like, man,
you're being used. Straight
Yeah.
up, you're being used. No, you're not asked to play. You're being used strictly. That's why you got 2 lower body injuries. I think he should go in the mirror, be like, my hamstring swollen up. My ankle is half off. I'm looking at my play sheet, and I see a bunch of me running around calls. Maybe I'm not here to develop into a Brady Quinn. Because clearly my own coach said I'm here to run around and tire the defensive line out. That's not throwing no touchdowns.
Nah.
That's not leading no 2-minute drive for the victory.
No.
That's not no let's start off slow and then put in. No. That's you a freshman. We just gonna beat you up, treat you like a running back. And then when it's time to get everybody's tired, we're gonna put the other quarterback in. That's messed up.
He just told us that there's no more juice in Jack Cohn. Like, the juice is gone. Like, there's nothing left. There's nothing left in an orange, man. Nothing.
Yeah, it's like
we're squeezing. It's like
he's saying it's dry before it even get going. Like,
right.
You can't even. He's starting off flat. He's gonna give us flat starting off.
This is
until we Buckner juice him up.
This is like
Buckner juice him up.
This is, and some people, watching us, they might not know about this, but this is like the tube of toothpaste that you put water in, shake it up. This is like, the hand soap in the bathroom that's empty. You put a little water in to stretch it out. Or, you might be out of Monolith to wash dishes, and you throw some water in there to add something to it. It's like he's telling you there's nothing left. We can't throw water.
We got to stretch out this Jack Cohn project with some Tyler Buckner. Stretch it out. Like, we got to get through a game. And if it ain't enough for Tyler, we're going to throw some Drew in there and stretch that out.
Make it last a little bit longer. See if we get this to last 12 games.
We trying to feed the team on 3 quarterbacks because the first one ain't enough.
Man,
so we got to stretch it out with little Tyler, and if Tyler ain't stretching it, we got to stretch it out with
a little Drew,
just to give Jack enough to get through. That's crazy.
The juice is not worth the squeeze, baby.
And we can't afford the juice or something. We stretching it like we not a Division I powerhouse. Why are we stretching our quarterback game out like that?
So I asked,
why not get a full carton?
Why
not go get an actual 2-liter? You down at the grocery store right here? We over here stretching all types of itty bitty last juice. We get the old juice from the back of the refrigerator. It's half drank. We done got it from our friend that left it at our house.
Dude. That cat is basically, he just called that dude concentrate, man.
Concentrate.
Not real juice. It's concentrate. Water, anything else they can use to stretch Jack Cohn out. That's what they're going to do for the rest of the season.
Oh. We're a Division I program. He's a legendary coach, most winning coach of all time. And he's casually speaking about his that you gotta Stretch out your quarterback play because it's just not enough. We don't. That's not a problem we should be having. 4 for 40. That's a hell of a recruiting piece. 4 for 4. That's a lot of people can't say that. And we out here stretching the talent at QB. That's
how do we get more out of Jack Cohn? Let's just look at it.
You can't get more out of a guy that you admitting don't got enough to start with. How can you say you stretching something that you went and got? You went to the store and got a half carton. Instead of 2 liters, you got 1 liter from the store. So, yeah, I don't know what
you got half a 2 liter. You
bought half a 2 liter.
But it was half full. You didn't buy a 1 liter full. You bought a 2 liter that was half full.
Yeah.
And brought it to the party.
Yeah, like you didn't go buy a fresh one before you got there. You got the one that was already in the fridge.
Right.
It was one you was working on all week, and you just, hey, let me go ahead and grab this. Go half open juice.
Oh man.
And that's your explanation, though. That's your explanation as to why he's sometimes this, sometimes that.
But the first drive against Florida State, good. First drive against Purdue, good. First drive against Cincinnati, minus the interception in the end zone.
I mean, not good.
That's not good, but he drove the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Come on, man. How much rather you say, look, we just really want to get Tyler in the game?
Oh yeah, take some ownership. We gotta get Tyler in the game, or our play calling wasn't in sync.
Right.
I mean, that's a more football reason. You just admitting that none of your players are good enough.
Right.
That's not good.
Like what we're gonna do is every week we're gonna tire out the other team.
Yeah. With a guy we apparently don't think is good enough to do it all game.
And then just when they think they got us, we'll strike.
Come on, with a half-juiced quarterback.
And that's our game plan here at Notre Dame.
He explains it.
As a top 5 program. Oh, man. Oh, this is crazy. He also talked about their plan. I talked about USC's struggles mightily. The number to remember, and we'll get deeper into it in our preview later in the week. Number 15. You want to know who USC is? Number 15. That's it. Yeah. Drake London. That's it. That's it.
USC got a lot of problems, but Drake London is not one of them.
He is not one of them.
He's not.
No. How much? Give me a percentage of how much Cam lines up on him one-on-one.
I feel like Cam should be on him 80% of the game, just enough to annoy him. I think we have enough around us on the defensive front to get in the quarterback's way, make it tough, and then Cam can be long enough to maybe get in the pass breakup lane or possibly pick it off and just get on the guy's nerve. Cam's got a good size for that.
Well, look, we'll get to your keys to a dub in the preview. We'll get to your clean sheet. We'll get to everything else in our preview as we preview Notre Dame against USC this coming Wednesday right here on the Lucky Lefty podcast. Usually we talk about the week or the weekend in college football that has passed. I just want to start this off by saying last week on the Slant, I told you all how unimpressed I was with the Iowa Hawkeyes. I told you that if Shaun Clifford had stayed in the game, Penn State would have dragged them or drugged them up and down Kinnick Stadium. I also told you if you wanted to enjoy watching football for 4 hours on a Saturday, I told you to watch the Georgia defense. Every week.
Entertain.
From this day forth, every Saturday, watch Georgia. Just watch the defense. Don't even watch the offense. When the offense takes the field, turn to something else. Put it right back. When their defense takes the field.
Yeah, click it right back.
Click it right back. I also told you that Virginia Tech, Notre Dame might be a trap game because the most important game for them and their goals as getting to the ACC championship game would be the next game at home against Pitt. And Kenny Pickett and the Panthers came in there and tore they up.
That's right.
Tore them up. So is it possible that Notre Dame's a trap game? Yes.
Oh yeah, look at Florida State. Florida State ain't won a game since.
No, they went and lost to Jacksonville State.
They look so good when they play us and look so bad when they play us.
Teams expend so much energy.
They have to. It's got to be an
emotionally and physical. Yeah,
got to be an emotional thing, especially to lose close to us. Well, we're thinking to be a good team, and you so hyped on getting close and losing.
Yeah.
The next week, it's just like you can't find a first down, find a win. So.
I know a lot of people responded, thought we were a little bit too harsh on our eye test video when it came to Tyler Buckner. I'd just like to encourage you to go look at the highlights.
Yeah.
From
it's an eye test. This is what we saw. We ain't making it up.
Go look
if y'all think he looks smooth out there, then we're in trouble because I saw a smooth guy on Saturday.
Yes, Saturday night.
A lot of points. That put up a lot of points.
In Norman, Oklahoma.
And I think we deserve a talent equal or better to that.
Yes.
Not that Tyler's not talented like that. He's just from an eye test, not as smooth. Right.
And I know a lot of people will probably say, well, he has more talent around him. No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. Their offensive line struggled
always. Year. Yeah, they're always the nicest.
Year.
Yeah, they're always the nicest.
Now I play caller. I definitely would say they have a better play caller.
Oh yeah, but they had the 3 Heismans already, or 3 Heismans.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts was in there.
Yeah, he was in the room.
Yes, he was in there. So look, they got that. But there's nothing wrong with wanting more.
Hey man, I told you
we want more.
I told you 2 slants ago. Wherever Lincoln Riley goes, looking at a quarterback, just follow him.
Yeah.
Just go follow him.
Just go.
Wherever he goes.
Malachi Nielsen down the street from Los Alamitos. Another
right. Coming next year, right?
Coming next year.
I just don't understand, man. He has an eye for game-breaking talent.
He does. And
difference makers at the quarterback position. Alabama's rebounded quite well. You know what? I've heard stories about the state of West Virginia and playing away games there, specifically West Virginia, getting hit with batteries. But I've never seen a head coach hit with a golf ball on the sideline.
It's pretty tough.
Until Lane Kiffin got hit at Tennessee. And it was actually a really good game between between Ole Miss and Tennessee.
That's right.
Really good game. Look, Tennessee might be the coolest program that no one wants to play for.
Yeah, because how do you not want to play for those fans? It's 100,000 every time. They love it. I mean, it's ball country. The orange and white is out. And
the checkerboard.
Bro,
do you know I would use that checkerboard for all types of end zone dances, dude? When I was
yeah. Hopscotch and all.
Hopscotch, everything. Tic-tac-toe.
I mean, the celebrations would be endless. I just don't understand. You had Peyton Manning. Why the recruits not falling in after Peyton Manning?
See,
Josh Dobbs. I like Josh Dobbs. That's reason. Josh Dobbs. Y'all like,
they were decent when they had I forget the quarterback, but when Alvin Kamara was there, they were still
Dobbs.
Was it Dobbs that was there with Kamara?
My God, shout out Josh Dobbs. They had Dobbs over there.
Yeah.
And then they start getting these Daniel Jones rejects. And It was over. They
Yo,
became
no disrespect.
team.
I think it's Braden Gall that I think he covers the SEC. But I got into a Twitter war with him because they played their first game and Joe Milton was out there putting up numbers, right? And so he was just, oh my God, just fawning over this cat, Joe Milton. And I was like, bro, he ain't it. He was like, what are you talking about? He's finally with some good coaches. I said, so you're telling me the coaches at Tennessee are better than the coaches at Michigan? I'm like, nah. Trust me, he's not it. 2 weeks later, same guy is tearing him down on Twitter. And I'm like, wait a minute. You were just fawning over this dude 2-3 weeks ago. I told you to take it easy and not to put yourself out there. And now you want to destroy the kid? It's like, come on, man. No, stop putting expectations on his, like he is who he is.
He is who he is.
If he works at it, he can probably get better, but
that's my thing when it comes to coaching. You got to coach to the skill of the player. You got these expectations and putting them out there, and he's having these one-off games, but you're not coaching to how he can be consecutively successful or consistently successful. A guy like Joe Milton, that's a hit or miss doing the stuff that they're doing. They need to just do what Coach Dan Mullen's doing with their superstar quarterback down there. They're damn near the same build.
Yeah.
They ain't trying to read no concepts. It's we're going to run this power. We're going to flood the short side of the field, throw a bunch of wheels and quick posts and RPOs, and we're going to run that thing.
And it
look good.
And put up 40.
It looked good. It looked like they should be doing that all the time.
That was a great game between them and LSU.
Oh, man, they got a great second half.
Great game. Great special team, dude. Special skill positions. I'm sorry. Great skill position. Great speed. NFL scouts had to love that game.
Oh, man.
It
didn't even matter about rankings. That was an NFL scout dream game.
Exactly. Like, enjoy the food. Drive up to New Orleans after the game. Get you some charbroiled oysters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A little bit of alligator meat.
I mean, I don't know about the alligator meat. Man.
Hey, don't knock them till you try, bro. Don't knock them till you try.
I'm knocking it.
You gonna knock it?
I was not a fan. It's like rubber chicken. You know?
And nothing goes better with that gator meat than Onora whiskey.
See?
It's the perfect way.
Now we talking right.
It's the perfect way to
whiskey can make you forget.
Yes.
That chewing on rubber bands, eating gator. You know? But that Onora whiskey gonna do it right for you, man. At any time, it's a great day drink. Many people don't like bourbon during the day. And in fact, women drink more bourbon than men. So I can see why. You know, the nightcap with the going out with your girls, that's what you want. You want some Onora, some bourbon. We're gonna do it to you the right way. Daytime, evening, before church, after church, before wedding, after wedding, it doesn't matter. You have it always with a Onora Lucky Lefty bourbon.
You just opened the door for me right there. You know how we do it on Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spin it different. So, you know, we might bring up something just off topic, like right now, right? You said, you know, back in the day, you know, I could take anyone out, $20, have a couple of drinks at the bar, be straight. Now, you know, I guess the theme of this show is learning how to stretch it out. Learning how to stretch what you got, right? Because $20 right now, there's no way you can go.
Wouldn't even get you there with gas. It don't even get you there.
That was back in the day when Bennigan's was still open. You can get an app and 2 drinks for $20. Smooth day.
Smooth day.
Great day. What's the best date drink to order to impress a young lady?
A day drink to order.
No, the best drink to order on a date with a young lady.
Oh, man.
To impress her. Is it whiskey right now?
It's definitely a bourbon, but I would only say my bourbon because many bourbons will be tough if you're just on a date. If you're trying to impress a girl, offering bourbon, any other bourbon wouldn't be the right choice because they're going to think like, oh, what you trying to do after this?
Right,
right. You know, it's a strong. I think if you're playing it safe and if you're at the right spot, get you a Moscow Mule. That's a conversation starter. They got
That's my wife's favorite.
See,
My wife's favorite.
they got the different cup. It's the copper cup.
Yeah.
You know, it got the, so that's one that you'll have a little knowledge on, and it's a fun drink too.
Now, see, I am a creature of habit.
Okay.
So my go-to has always been a mojito.
Oh yeah, that's smooth. That's a day drink though. That's
Yeah, it is.
Beach party,
For me, it's just anytime. Like if I don't know, if I have no idea, my go-to is always like, you know what, just bring me a mojito. Every now and then I'll say, can you put some pineapple juice in it?
Yeah, that's when you feeling like you in the islands or something.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? And I know I can like be smooth with that.
That's right.
You know, my cousin, and we can hop off this in a second. He's from Michigan. Shout out to my boy LG, huge Wolverine fan. He's the bourbon whiskey guy. He is like the guy that's like, yo, this one is sweet. This one is this one is that. So yeah, he actually got me into it. We were supposed to go do a tour in Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah, we were supposed to go to Kentucky and do a tour because that's something he really wanted to do. So I might have to bring him out there so we can definitely partake of the tour. So everybody watching the Lucky Lefty podcast, look, you need to go order right now.
Order right now, man. We up and we moving, we shaking and we grooving, man. Yo, have a great experience with it and let us know. We want some feedback.
So what's the best meal combination for your bourbon?
Man, this is a steak dinner type of night. You got a good business meeting or trying to impress somebody on a date. You want to go to a nice dim lit restaurant with a nice steak, good cut of steak. You don't want to go for the ribeye, maybe like a strip or a quick fillet. But you want to have Onora before to get the conversation going and after, which is better than your dessert, man. You won't have to ask no more questions, man. That's a deal sealer. That's a vibe creator and an experience generator when you have a little bit of Onora at night.
How can they get at it?
NoraWhiskey.com. We ship all over the world, from the Netherlands and Japan all the way to California down to South Bend. We able to ship it right to your doorstep, man. Or you can follow us on my Overtime Malik, my Instagram. I got a link to it. Or just follow us on anywhere. Onora Whiskey on all platforms, baby.
So get that Onora Whiskey. Bourbon, sit there, sip on it. 6:30 p.m. USC coming to South Bend to face Notre Dame. So you can deal with your nerves real good. Because, Notre Dame likes to keep games close this year. There's some of that Onora next to you.
It'll keep your nerves down.
Keep your nerves right until we tire them out. Until we tire them out.
And then we'll be all right.
Then you can light up that stogie.
Oh man, hey, he need to go apologize for that. He need to go after that. He need to go in there and be like, Tyler, I ain't really mean that, man. I think he said something. He had to say something like that in a previous press conference. And what made Phil leave, because ain't no way in the world, man. All that talent Phil got, he shouldn't even be there. You know what I mean? He Notre Dame.
Yeah. So is Cincinnati the number 2 team to you?
No. If Cincinnati is the number 2 team in the country, then all recruiting needs to be shaken up. All recruiting. All I'm talking about, Mac needs to be involved. The San Jose States in the world need to be involved. There's no more such thing as Power 5 if Cincinnati finishes number 1 in the year.
Dude, they have 2 defensive backs. One called Sauce Gardner. The other one is Kobe Bryant. That still throws me off, dude. Like,
yeah, like I said, if Cincinnati,
Kobe Bryant took it back for a pick 6 on Saturday, I said, this cat Kobe Bryant.
I'm telling you. Now, listen, all respect to Cincinnati, but I'm really the displeasure is with the selection committee putting them at number 2. Y'all telling me y'all can't sit up in there and think of a way to structure it that benefits where the money's going? I feel like they should always have a Power 5 team as the top 5. Because if Cincinnati, I'm telling you, if Cincinnati is really the number 2 team in the country, then college football is in trouble for recruiting. There's no aesthetics to any of these schools anymore, and you better go to where you can get right. Cincinnati used to be a JUCO product almost.
Yeah.
That's where JUCOs went.
Yeah.
Your first offer was from Cincinnati 6-7 years ago. That was you get an offer from Cincinnati, you know you're going D1 because that was always your first offer. So to see them number 2 team in the country, wow.
I mean, from a resume standpoint, I can't even say from a resume standpoint. Look, if Cincinnati played in the SEC, they probably would have 2 losses right now.
Yeah, that's what I was. Florida, even Wake Forest. Look at Wake Forest.
Oh, I don't. We don't take Wake Forest seriously. If Wake Forest, look, man, see, this would be historic because if Wake Forest could go undefeated, and I still will vote against them being in the college.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
There's no way Wake Forest should be. I don't care what deal you have with the ACC. There's no way we're letting Wake Forest in the final.
That's what I'm saying. So how is Cincinnati number 2 team in the country? You should feel the same way.
Oh, man.
You gonna turn on the Cincinnati game right now, number 2 playing Tulsa, their conference rival or something? Like, come on.
And that's why, look, I saw Texas, I saw Oklahoma State go on the road, beat Texas, and people were asleep on Oklahoma State. They were ranked higher than Texas, and Oklahoma State gets Oklahoma and Bedlam at the end of the year.
That's true. It's different though, because that's what I'm talking about. It's way more exciting to watch Texas lose every week against teams they should beat than Cincinnati playing every week and watching them win.
As far as the games, no, it's definitely
just the want to.
Yeah,
we just saw Texas lose to Oklahoma
and Oklahoma State, and they were both great games.
Both great games, and we didn't even expect Texas to win either one.
No,
but we wanted to turn the game on. You know what I mean? So that's just an aesthetics thing to me, maybe.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Big Ten, they have some great games coming up.
Yeah,
Michigan State is on a bye week. Michigan State's on a bye week. They're prepping for Michigan. That game is going to be the top 10 matchup, undefeated teams. That's huge. If Michigan escapes, they face Ohio State for all the marbles at the end of November once again. And Ohio State pretty much, even after the home loss to Oregon, they have control of their own destiny.
Ohio State, they may have to think about going to the SEC too.
I mean,
them Oklahoma and Texas go to SEC. It should just be the SEC is the one conference, everybody else under
Ohio State. The Big Ten is the only conference that the SEC can't swallow.
Yeah, true. Yeah, 100%.
The Big Ten is the only conference that's insulated from the SEC.
Yeah,
even if the SEC
comes an established conference.
Yeah, it goes deeper than football. Like the Big Ten has been traditionally in basketball, but the SEC is in football.
Yeah,
as far as programs and tradition.
Michigan State, Ohio State basketball, Michigan basketball,
Wisconsin
basketball. Yeah, they every year. Yeah, Purdue's basketball team is great. Come on.
Now I'm a Notre Dame football fan, but I did attend the University of Illinois.
They nice too. They had their year.
We come to South Bend for the Big Ten ACC Challenge.
Oh yeah, what's that looking like?
I'm just alerting Notre Dame fans that if you see me at the game, not wearing Notre Dame gear,
it's one of the few times, if ever.
Don't walk up on me. I'm forewarning you. Don't walk up on me. The South Side of Chicago will come out. I'm just here to watch a basketball game.
I'm just here to watch a game now.
Oh no, I'm just teasing with Irish fans. The landscape really is one of the most wide open landscapes that we've seen, since the beginning of the college football playoff.
No, seriously. There's not a defining team outside of Georgia. But Georgia's good to let you down when they least count it. And their quarterback situation is not that good. So that's the only lock team to get in there for me. But other than that, shoot, there's a reason why Cincinnati number 2. They can't think of nobody else either. But Cincinnati, all credit, they definitely deserve some credit. It's not easy going undefeated. It's not easy beating Notre Dame, and you're only playing who's on your schedule. So, we got to give you credit for that. It's just, man, I don't think they fill it enough seats for number 2 in the country.
Shout out to Cincinnati. Shout out to Luke Fickell for
Luke
having
Fickell,
his
for
team
sure.
ready to play when they showed up against Notre Dame and having them in great shape.
Oh, yeah.
Because they did not wear down.
They didn't.
They didn't.
And they looked good the entire game through, and Desmond Ritter stayed strong the entire game.
Yeah.
Usually you would think he's a first half, second half type of guy. He played good, man. We gotta chalk it up to him.
Tyler Buckner couldn't wear them out. He just couldn't. He couldn't.
We couldn't make that.
So we had to bring in Drew Pine.
I wonder what Coach Kelly thinks now, full circle 10 years later. He ends up losing to the team he left.
To the program he built?
I think it was deeper than just a loss that game.
Oh, it probably hit him hard.
It had to. The one time you played, the one time in 10 plus years you played a team, you dropped in the middle of dropped like a hot date.
After you said you weren't going anywhere.
After you said you weren't going there, they come to your place and beat you. That's tough. That's tough.
Like double digits at that. Yeah.
This whole time. They might even play in the championship before you, Coach Kelly. You'd be sick.
Oh, that'll be
he'd be sick.
Made it to the final game. Because like you said, Alabama and Clemson might not make it.
They might not make it. If Cincinnati mess around and get in that championship game over Coach Kelly, he'll be sick forever.
Hey, Cincinnati played Georgia close last year.
He would be sick.
They played them close.
That's what I'm saying. Cincinnati, Georgia come back for a championship game, and Cincinnati mess around and win. Coach Kelly's whole coaching cycle will come full circle. He will have to retire.
So let's say Cincinnati ends up playing, let's say they stay at the 2 or the 3, and they end up playing Ohio State.
I'm going to that game because I'm from there. I'm right in the smack in the middle. I'm gotta go. I don't even know who I'm rooting for. I'm going.
Man, if they get to the final game, because there's no way they're beating Georgia. I just don't think they beat Georgia. That's just
they got the players for it, though. The quarterback is just good enough. They got Michael Young, former Notre Dame guy, just good enough.
Right now, you are making Notre Dame fans feel real uneasy.
I'm telling Coach Kelly should feel uneasy.
He probably feels the worst.
Yeah, his coaching karma done came back on him so strong. 10 years? 10 years to play the team you dropped like a hot potato. But now they're ranked.
But he became the all-time winningest coach at Notre Dame.
But is it at a price that the team you left win a national championship? That's all you want? You heard him? He said, all that doesn't matter because I didn't win a championship. And then Cincinnati winning in your 10th year? Ooh! Storylines forever.
God darn it.
But we might sneak in there too, so I ain't counting us out neither.
And to throw it, you even stole their defensive coordinator and you still couldn't beat them.
Man, we even stole your defensive coordinator. But, we played Clemson in the beginning of regular season, we beat them. We played them next time, we didn't beat them. So hopefully, it's a reverse story. You beat Cincinnati regular season, play them in the playoffs, beat them again.
Shout out to our listeners and our subscribers. A couple of our listeners disagree with us. Well, disagree with me because you counted the rushing the field against Clemson in the middle of a pandemic. I didn't. I'm like, dude, that doesn't count. I'm not counting that. That's not even a real. It's like the full student body wasn't even there. It's like
it was lit though. It was lit.
That goes back to what you said. Even after that game, and see, man, I'm a realistic Notre Dame fan, and I can be a realistic Notre Dame fan. Okay, I knew who Trevor Lawrence was, bro.
That's what I said. I was like, we all know who Trevor Lawrence is.
I know who that dude is. So I knew if he showed up in that championship game,
it was over.
I knew it was going to be a different game.
Yeah, he was too good at that time to even be like, yeah, we really going to. No. Yeah, not how he was that time.
So if we were to face Cincinnati again, who's showing up for us?
See, I think well, if we can coach, since we're a more talented team than Cincinnati, we can win that game. We wasn't more talented player to player than Clemson the second time when they got trouble. So even with the coaching being good, because I thought it was good in the first half, I thought we called some things to have some opportunities. We dropped that Avery Davis one, but if he catches that, the game may be a little different, So, but we wasn't more talented than them overall. So it just showed as the game went on, because when they started to click, it was like nothing you could really do. With Cincinnati, if we clicked, we could probably beat them, on their best day, just because we have better talent.
And if we played Georgia, I'm talking about this Notre Dame team this year. If we played Georgia, we would stick around. Wouldn't score.
We would lose to Kentucky.
Around. Yeah, Kirby would keep us close.
I don't know. Not the way we like to give it up. Georgia's defense against our juice strained, our lack of juice on the QB position. Come on.
The O-line will have progressed. Let me stop because I was about to try to give a positive spin on it.
We're not Georgia level right now. I can say that.
And probably people wonder why we talk about Georgia.
That's the team. That's the team right there.
That's all. We're just trying to tell you.
We trying to show you where we're at is a good level. We're good.
Yeah.
They're just, they got better. They got paid talent.
Facts. Literally paid talent.
They got paid talent. We got some guys that, scrapping some coins together, but we ain't messing with that.
Anything else stick out? Because you sent me, you already have your candidate for the petty train as we get ready to get out of here for the slant this week. Anything else jump out from you? For you from this weekend?
Football getting better and better each week, man. All these overtime games and these last second, they doing it right this year.
I feel sorry, man, because I see Dabo. This season is so tough. I ask myself, I'm like, man, is it really, Raekwon and Ghostface? Is it really that simple? Can it be so simple? Because is it as simple as Trevor Lawrence not being there? Is it really? Is it really? Because Deshaun leaves, and Kelly Bryant
is definitely.
But even with Kelly Bryant, they were making the college football playoffs. So I'm like,
but maybe in a conspiracy world, this is what Coach Kelly is avoiding. Maybe he's avoiding that superstar quarterback, so he doesn't have to face these lulls like Dabo Swinney's going through, because it just looks like so much was dependent on making it go at the quarterback position when Deshaun was there, when Trevor ended up getting in the mode, that when you lose just one player, it looks like you're an average team. Good thing with Coach Kelly, he never brought in the superstar, allowed the superstar to be the superstar quarterback to where it drained out the whole team when he left. So even when Ian left, it was like, okay, that's just another player. Even though he had the accomplishments out the wazoo and all that, he ended the season with 15 touchdowns. He didn't even have any touchdowns passing. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why we don't get the it factor quarterback. But that's just like what happened when the Dolphins lost Dan Marino. They still ain't had a quarterback. So it just happens like that sometimes.
So why is it that you want to put Bart Scott on the petty train?
I want to put Bart Scott on the petty train because it just is a matter of like the older generation looking way not cool to the younger generation.
Right.
And it's a clash because you respect Bart Scott as an all-time linebacker. He's been on all the things that you can remember as a kid growing up from tough football, but Marquise Brown he just got the cool factor. And so whenever you in school, you just try to grill the cool kid, it just doesn't come off right. You just, he'll one word respond and just make it seem like you just that much more behind the eight ball. So it's petty that his comments are petty. And a guy like Bartholomew would say that a guy named Marquise couldn't get a job because of his name or something like that.
That right there was the most shocking thing. Like
it was like a reverse racist comment almost. Like, what are you talking about?
We're doing the infighting now?
Yeah, you saying it as if you ain't the same color. Like, if y'all both went in there, I'm sure they don't care what your name is.
Right. Or like you didn't come from a similar background. Like,
yeah, like, come on now. I think he was reaching. It was petty because it was such an awkward way to kind of word a joke like that. I don't know if it was, it was so much you can say behind it, but come on, dude. You a Raven too, a diehard Raven. You're not Ray Lewis, so I don't think you gonna get that Paul Pierce treatment that people gave Paul Pierce when they talking about you not LeBron.
They don't love you.
Not getting no Kobe.
They don't love you. You're not getting no tour.
Yeah, get no tour.
They don't love you.
So because of that, I don't think the public will sway with Bart on this
one. Yeah, welcome to the petty train. Bart Scott, former NFL linebacker. He has that tied in the 4 letters now, man. So that, that kind of does something to those people.
It does something because he deserves it.
I find myself, I have to check myself every now and then. Right? Because I get into arguments with my nephews all the time about music. My nephew will tell me Young Boy NBA is the coldest MC in the world.
Right? Oh, my goodness.
I let him speak his piece. And he's just, oh, man, he's the coldest. He be talking about that real life. He a gangster for real. I'm like, okay. And then, you have to realize, my father used to look at me that way.
Because if you,
when I was
what they talking about now, I don't know, man.
When I was talking about Pac, and you know how radical Pac was. When I was talking about Pac, my father was like, what? Man, get that skinny tattooed dude out of here.
Right.
So, I get it.
I don't know if Pac and Young Boy saying the same things, though.
Let's be real, though. Every era has whack music.
True, but
every era has whack music.
Super whack music.
Super whack. Because that Certified Lover Boy was subpar. Now, I know a lot of people might
really?
Damn subpar, dude. If
it was subpar, what would you be expected from Drake then? Because that's a classic Drake album.
Don't see, there you go. That's what we get into these arguments. Stop putting the word classic on everything, man.
Classic to him. I'm saying classic to Drake. Not
you mean like style, like a true.
That was
Drake
his
album.
Perfect. That was his whole.
That's his ballpark.
That's him. That's him.
That's his ball. That's his groove. I agree with that. I expect Drake to do. Drake has the same expectations I put on Kendrick. Okay. Same expectations I would put on Jay if he would have put somebody out. When you get to that level,
it's got to be mind blowing.
I'm just expecting mind blowing stuff.
Straight up.
And it can be cool.
A Drake thing. He did a Drake. It was cool.
He did a Drake thing. And that's fine because Drake's gonna do numbers.
He gonna do every time.
Kendrick's gonna do numbers. Jay to a lesser extent because he's not really hitting the young crowd like that. But Jay's gonna do numbers amongst his fans. And he's gonna cut the business deals to go with it.
I mean, he working in the NFL. He got the halftime show lit.
So
for the Super Bowl.
That's all I'm saying. We just understand, but Hollywood. Bart. I understand, Bart. Man, I understand your mentality.
He had a decent point, but
But he missed the mark,
the league
right?
locked up.
He missed the mark because he was trying to be funny. That's the thing.
He was trying to be funny, then tried to
He was
explain
funny.
it seriously, and it just wasn't.
And he got to the punchline, and it
didn't stick right.
Nah. That's why Dave Chappelle is so dope, right? Because if you're going to be this type of comic that's a storyteller and proving points, once you get to that punchline, you got to hit it. True. It has to hit. Bart Scott, you failed miserably.
Man. Then you double down on it.
Don't ever.
Don't
ever go do stand up. Ever.
Yeah.
Crickets will be in your future.
Hey, when they say they don't love you, bro, like they love Kobe, man, they ain't gonna give you no farewell tour. Bro.
They don't love you. I felt so bad for Paul Pierce, man. Because he was on the bench. It wasn't even like he was in the game. He was at the end of the bench, just languishing. And it's like, bro, he had to put his head down. It was so embarrassing.
Yeah, it was embarrassing.
You know,
they embarrassed him in IT the same way.
Oh my God.
Boston don't play, man. You mess around in Boston, they'll let you remember.
Draymond is wrong for that, man. Draymond will forever be on the petty train for that.
Yeah, Coach Kelly driving the front, Draymond driving the back.
Draymond in the back putting the coal in the fire.
The
engine going. They don't love you. They don't love you. You ain't Kobe. That's lucky.
That's it right there.
For this week, USC week. As I said before, I have the preview up on Wednesday, and then this weekend we'll be live with the Raptor show. Right, midnight Eastern time, 11:00 p.m. Central. That's 9 p.m. Pacific. If you're out there on the left coast, so should be fun. As I said before, I'm predicting a blowout. So
for more reasons than one.
Man, yeah, the defensive lineman should blow out tires about the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler should be, that he going back home. He gonna have a little more energy in that back to run around.
Yeah,
he in trouble, dog.
You know,
we're gonna bring Jack in with about a minute left in the fourth, in a minute, minute 30. Go in there and pull off some Kurt Warner magic, man. Dude, that's who my comparison to Jack is, to Kurt Warner. He just played like him.
Yo, get your no juice t-shirts right here.
Get your no juice. No juice and make it last on the back of the shirt.
For my boy Malik Zaire at Overtime Malik, I'm Shaun Davis, man, at SD2 Mics. Don't forget about that Onora Premium American Whiskey. Go right now. Order that online. Get two, one for you and one for somebody for the holidays.
That's right.
Take when you go over there for Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner. It's the perfect gift to bring. All right. We'll talk to you when we preview USC Notre Dame later this week. Peace out.
You're listening to the Lucky Lefty Podcast with Malik Zaire.
Never will there ever be another like me. You can play the left because it ain't no right in me.
And Shaun Davis.